Albert Breer said something over Twitter that like really caught my eye and kind of blew my mind about, hey, let's take another look at the GOAT conversation. So Albert Breer tweeted out, I've long felt Belichick was the GOAT, but now, ... Reid without Patrick Mahomes, 184, 123 and 1, 13 playoff berths, 8 division titles, 1 Super Bowl appearance, 11 playoff wins, 8 top 10 offenses. Belichick without Brady, 83, 101, 2 playoff berths, 0 division titles, 0 Super Bowls, 1 playoff win, 0 top 10 offenses. I'm like, hey, man, if Andy Reid gets one more Super Bowl, I do think we may have a discussion here. This is fascinating, or is Albert Breer just reconstructing history? But I found this tweet very spicy. Steve, what do you say?
The winner of this whole Carolina Belichick thing are 2 people, Tom Brady and really Bobby Kraft. Those 2 guys should say nothing. Just lay back. Let this lay out and let it play out, and history will show the importance. But look, what Breer stated are facts. And the one thing about Andy Reid that's been impressive, even beyond the McNabb years, where they made, 4 or 5 NFC championship games, went to a Super Bowl, when other quarterbacks had to come in, they had pockets of success. He almost became like this quarterback whisperer. And even before Mahomes, Jason, Kansas City won a pretty good amount of games with Alex Smith, who coming in to that organization, wasn't he thought of as a number 1 pick bust? He kind of reconstructed and resuscitated that career. Now, again, they didn't make any Super Bowls there. I thought it was fascinating, Jason. Late last night on my YouTube feed came up a video from Sports Hub 98.5 in Boston. I've been consuming a lot of their content this offseason because of Belichick. And one of their guys did a top 10 list of dirtbag moves by Belichick. And I think they wanted to use another D-bag, but it's a family show. And it's actually egregious with the way the guy laid it out. You're like, wow. And as I'm watching this, guys, the one thing that kept coming to mind was, wow, Tom Brady was actually more important than I thought. He really was the straw that stirred that drink.
TJ?
Well, one thing, Steve, I think Alex Smith began to resuscitate his career with Jim Harbaugh in San Francisco.
Okay, fair enough.
He was already starting. He had about 2 years there before Colin Kaepernick took over. And so, but I do agree, obviously, Andy Reid is a quarterback whisperer. I have a little bit of problem with what Albert Breer is doing. He said Belichick has had 0 top 10 offenses. Oh, did I miss something where Belichick was an offensive wizard? Is that his thing? Because he had not during the Tom Brady reign, during that time, Tom Brady's back was covered by top 5 defenses virtually every year. You know, the guy who everybody had the GOAT conversation during the Tom Brady years while it was all happening was Peyton Manning. How many Super Bowls did he get? 2. Why'd that happen? Because he didn't have defenses. So we shouldn't pretend that Tom Brady's back was not completely covered by defense the entire time that he was there. And that was Bill Belichick's specialty. So, I mean, look at Albert's, he's got a little bit of something here, but also Andy Reid had an entire career before he got to Pat Mahomes. And he had it with a different team and all that. The vast majority of all of Belichick's years were right there in the thick of that. He was with the Browns after that, and he had a few years with the Patriots with quarterbacks that he was trying to develop, certainly not his thing. So it's a very apples to oranges contention. And even though you have the greatest quarterback of all time, which I think he did, there's a reason he got to that many Super Bowls when Peyton Manning, who you could argue is just as good, perhaps more talented, only got 2.
Yeah, I think that Belichick has clearly taken his eye off the ball. That the his last 3 to 5 years in New England, not as committed as the first 15, 17 years, or how I can't remember all the years he was at New England. But he just sometimes success and at that level that much can undermine you. Steve, he's Marvin Hagler sleeping on satin sheets. What, it was a satin sheet?
Well, okay, but keep this in mind. Marvin Hagler only lost one fight. It's not like he lost the last 7 out of 10. He beat John Mugabe in March of '86. Actually had kind of retired. They had to talk him into fighting Ray Leonard, and at least half the people that watched that fight thought he beat Ray Leonard. It's not like he got knocked out here. Bill Belichick is getting knocked out like Michael Spinks against Tyson. I mean, they're getting blown out against P4 teams this year, guys. The average score when they play a P4 team is 40-11. Now, TJ, you made a lot of good points. I will not push back on any, but to be fair to Belichick, I do believe the last 5 to 6 years in New England were really bad, though, and it clouds the judgment of a lot of people. And I just go back to this, Jason. Mac Jones actually had a very good rookie year. Mac Jones seems like he's going to be a starter one day. I like what I'm seeing from him. I like Mac Jones. But when you say, okay, well, we need a new coordinator, who's going to run this kid? It's going to be Joe Judge, a special teams guy, and Matt Patricia, a career defense. That's going to be the guy that's going to lead. Come on, that's on you. And the way he drafted, Jason, look up the last 4 to 5 drafts that were all engineered by Belichick. He struck out a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm Cleopatra or whatever. I just, Belichick has just keeping it 1,000. He's just, the wrong head is leading him around, and he's making a fool of himself. And if people want to start having a conversation about his reputation as opposed to Andy Reid, I'll disagree with them slightly, but I'm not going to object and pretend like it's completely out of line. The guy's made a fool of himself. And it started his last 3 to 4 years, once he dumped Brady, and that does change the perception of him. And it does, to me, what does Andy Reid have now? 3 Super Bowl titles? Do they have 3? Yeah, they got 3. He's got an appearance in Philly. And 2 more appearances in right. Holy cow, 3,
7 or 8 appearances.
Yeah, he's got like 6, 7, 8 Super Bowl appearances. He gets a couple of more, and I think it's a fair conversation and a real conversation where if Belichick had retired, even just last year or 2 years ago when he got let go, if he had just retired, I think his reputation would be unchallenged. Regardless of the last 3-4 years in New England, he's opened himself up to this, and his reputation's being rewritten in real time, and he can be caught as the GOAT coach, because the other thing is, and maybe he'll move into media and he'll restore some likability to himself, but I just don't think he's a likable guy right now. I think most people think, man, that's a bad guy with no sexual discipline who went through some sort of change of life deal. He better come up with some great excuse for what's happened here with him and this young girl. It's just
we might be in the minority there, Jason. We might be in the minority there. I totally agree with you. For the record, I totally agree with you. Do you know how many people I hear defending him and actually championing that he can pull a 24-year-old girl? Like that, there is a group of people who thinks that's amazing and that every guy should be doing that.
I don't think anybody with any life savvy is remotely shocked that a multi-millionaire former NFL coach could pull a 24-year-old in this version of America and where America. There's no surprise here. The only surprise here is that he went public with it.
Yeah.
That's the surprise.
Jason, TJ, I've maintained this. The relationship is not my business. I really don't even care. But the fact that you are trotting her out, and before the games, look, a lot of college coaches' wives will come on the field after a victory and they take a picture. I saw that with Mario Cristobal last week. It's a great scene because as a college coach, I've always maintained you're probably no worse than the second or third most recognizable figure on that campus. That's the God's honest truth. I think a lot of students don't even know what the school president or the chancellor looks like. At a lot of universities, they know what the football coach looks like, and they probably know what the wife looks like. They've seen pictures. But when she's coming on the field during warm-ups and they're smooching, and she's such an out-front presence, if this was all kept private, I think we would have forgotten about it back in February. The fact it became more and more of a story, UNC did not bargain for this.
Guys, you've both seen Top Gun, yes? The original Top Gun. Okay. Do you remember Kelly McGillis?
Yeah.
The girl from... Okay. Do you know why they couldn't put her in Top Gun Maverick? Because she looks like a whale.
My size, isn't she?
She looks like a whale, yes. And she cut her hair and she became a lesbian. Okay. This is what's happened to Bill Belichick. At one point in time, he was the supermodel, the guy and then at the end, you can't look at him the same way. That's what you're describing here. At the end, like now I can't, like when I watch the original Top Gun now, like she's not the same person because I know who she is now. That is a problem. And that's what you're describing here with Belichick. It's like, it's hard for me to think of 2012, 2013 Belichick in his prime, 2014 when they won the Super Bowl, when I just see him, being paraded around by his 24-year-old girlfriend who writes his emails for him. It's tough to see him in the same lens.
You know what TJ just showed? Kevin Samuels was not wrong.
Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.